Hello everybody, my name is Mannynaise, and I've been watching AEW over 2026, and I gotta say, like it a lot, better than WWE in some cases, maybe most cases, but with all good things.
I have questions.
So I'm hoping you guys can help me out with some answers in the comments. So think of this as a little Q&A session, as I be doing the questioning, and you guys be doing the answers as I list off AEW's biggest problems. Alright? Alright, now let's hop straight into it.
We outside!
Going from the WWE championship scene to the AEW championship scene, but that's like going from Minecraft to Terraria. Look, let's focus on the men, because having one AEW world champion, I prefer the WWE in some cases, as having two guys on top of the same mountain over there, it's kind of confusing when I'm just trying to watch some simple pro wrestling. Now, having a tag and trios title, oh yeah, way better. Sign me up. 100% better than WWE. It gets more people on the card, it has more exciting and different matches, and overall, I just enjoy the diversity, God forbid, right? Now, here's the thing with the mid-card titles, because it feels like we have
15 of them.
Now, I know there are really only 4, but I mean, just look at this match at Forbidden Door. This wasn't even a championship match, and
Half the dudes have championships.
you gotta understand how this looks to someone who just walked through the door. And that's not even to mention dudes running around with championships from other companies. And trust me, we'll get to that. But more importantly, I just want some clarification. I know the Continental Belt has the Continental Classic at the end of the year, and that's awesome, but it's also defended regularly on TV and pay-per-view. Look, I just want some clarification about what makes each of these titles. If my Go Andrade wins the TNT title, is that better or worse than if he won the international title? Now, just to be clear, I'm happy that people can have titles. It gives people rewarded TV time. It makes people feel important. Kyle Fletcher, Ricochet, Jungle Jack Perry, Takeshita, all these names are a long ways away from the AEW World Championship and need titles like this. So the more the merrier. I'm happy about that. I just want to know how each of these titles slot into the AEW ecosystem. Capiche? Capiche. Look, let's not beat around the bush. What is a Ring of Honor? At least with New Japan, CMLL, Stardom, they all operate on their own time with their own agendas. Ring of Honor, meanwhile, is on squatters' rights inside of AEW's
Own house.
Athena, Lee Moriarty under Shane Taylor Promotions, Leo Rush, Bandito. Are these not just AEW wrestlers, or am I missing something? WWE has a lot of problems, trust me. But structure is not one of them. In fact, let's do another Minecraft vs. Terraria analogy. Iron, WWE Independent and ID program. Gold, Evolve. Diamond, NXT. Netherite, main roster. Simple, easy, upward trajectory. Meanwhile, in AEW, you can get cactus armor from the desert and go straight to fight the Eye of Cthulhu for Demonites. Letting Ring of Honor breathe for a second, the other 3 promotions also follow under the same pattern. I mean, Gabe Kidd was getting whooped 2 months ago in a Trios Championship match against the conglomeration just to become the New Japan Heavyweight Champion. And yes, I know WWE does this too, but the only difference is that I've been thrown in the AEW deep end here and need a lifesaver for me to understand the relationship between these promotions. Therefore, I can better understand the title changes and why the wrestlers go to where they go. Why can't Persephone be on my screen 24/7? Wait. If you liked the video so far, then like and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, and I need your help to do it. And think about it, it's free, you can always take it back, and it'd be much appreciated. Timeless Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné, Willow Nightingale, Tekla, and then maybe Chris Statlander are the only women in AEW who I consider like that. And by like that, I mean have both the in-ring skill and mic skills to be able to carry the promotion and be true main eventers. And I know I've only been here for half a year, but be honest, Am I lying though? It also doesn't help that I've heard how prestigious the AEW championship is and how only 10 men have held it, and I figured that just translated over to the women, until I looked it up and it seems like everyone and their mother has held this championship. Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter are all women in AEW who I knew were good and had some skill, but I just didn't expect all three of them to be former AEW world champions. But is it crazy for me to say that I think Athena and Persephone would leapfrog this entire AEW women's division? I don't know, man. I need a map to guide me, to just let me know about a who's who, who's on the rise, who's already established. So, yeah, until then, I'm just going to be a little lost in the AEW's women's division. Alright, we're gonna keep this one short and sweet. Kinda like Sami Zayn's title reign. So, the first time I had really sunken my teeth into AEW was when I went to an AEW Dynamite live in person as it was in town, and there were two squash matches, one for the Brawling Birds and another for Roosh. And I was just like, man, I am so glad they're keeping the crowd entertained. Then I went home the next week and watched an AEW Dynamite episode, and there was another squash match, and I was like, wait a minute, these are actually a part of the show? And yeah, they are. They're pretty frequent. I just watched the Work Horsemen go up against the Death Riders. It was a good match. But what I'm saying is, are we happy about these absolutely no storyline, no build, no stake matches, even if it says it's for a TNT or TBS or something championship? Like, yes, Commander versus Kyle Fletcher is a banger, but I know Commander isn't winning because it makes absolutely zero sense. Bro hasn't been in the building for the past month and a half. So I'm just curious if when a squash match happens or when a character or pro wrestler gets booked for the squash match, if we see that as lazy booking, or if we see that as a nice loophole around keeping someone's momentum, or if we're just kind of like indifferent to it. Alright, I'll be honest, this one really isn't even a problem, but it's definitely a conversation that AEW fans need to start having. As we all know, WWE is run by TKO, a company that obviously does not only care about profits and bottom lines. And TKO, because they only care about these profits and bottom lines, have been cutting a lot more talent lately. The New Day, Aleister Black, Motor City Machine Guns, Kairi Sane, Sheamus, probably Bailey pretty soon. List goes on. However, this is an AEW problems video. So what's the problem with this? Well, the problem is, do you sign all these ex-WWE guys to bolster the roster and overall make your product more globally enticing, as more people would know these names? Or would that be considered diluting your own original product? Now, look, my personal opinion, maybe it's just because I've watched WWE and so I'm a little biased. Signing Bailey is the #1 priority, as putting her and Mercedes Moné in the same ring under any circumstance is a guaranteed hit. I also believe signing Sheamus, not necessarily for in-ring competition, but maybe as an announcer, a general manager. That way we can get him in the door and, more importantly, use his most valuable asset in his Celtic Warrior workouts to get more publicity for these AEW wrestlers. And finally, personal opinions out there, sign the New Day, please. And although I think these names will bring AEW to new heights and new publicity, I also think they will put new cap holds and new restrictions on the TV times for original AEW talent. And yes, I'm aware that a lot of these AEW wrestlers are formerly WWE guys, even some of the main eventers, but I feel like with these TKO releases, we are in a new era and has put AEW in a crossroads of whether to sign almost anyone and everyone who has a cachet from WWE, or to be way more selective about who is actually going to take AEW TV time and who is actually going to be all elite. Thanks for watching. That is the video, and I want to say this video was pretty unique and honestly fun to make, as it was cool to talk about pro wrestling in a whole different lens. If you want to see another AEW video like this, then please like and subscribe, trying to get to 1,000 by the end of 2026. And who knows, if all things go well, I may compare WWE SummerSlam to AEW All In. Or I can do a comparison of AEW versus WWE to Minecraft versus Terraria.